Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will present my study. My study topic is China's outward FDI to the Belt and Road countries, determinants and implications to the host country's economic growth. These presentations will be divided into 5 parts. First part is the introduction. Second is the literature review and research methodology and empirical results. Finally, the recommendations. Let's start with the introduction. For the background, in September of 2013, Chinese President Xi Jinping firstly proposed the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Marine Silk Road, which also known as the Belt and Road Initiatives. There are two objectives of these studies. First is to examine the impact of the Chinese outward FDI on economic growth in the Belt and Road countries, and to see whether such impact changed the direction after 2013. Second is to examine whether conditions in the Belt and Road countries, especially in terms of the trade openings and debts, matters for the Chinese outward FDI to generate economic growth in the Belt and Road countries. And there are two research gaps of this thesis. First is there are limited literatures focusing both on Chinese FDI based on the Belt and Road initiatives and FDI economic growth thesis. Second is empirical literature provide the inclusive results. For the scope and the limitations of the study, based on the data availabilities, this thesis will cover over 55 Belt and Road countries. And this thesis draws the conclusion that not all the Belt and Road countries in the study. Part 2, let's look at the literature review. Let's look at the literature review. Look at the table of this slide. We can note that the effect of the FDI on economic growth can occur through both direct and indirect effect. For the direct effect, multinational enterprises can bring in the investment capital, the one's production technologies, management skills, and the marketing know-how for the local firms. This can lead to the improvement in their industrial capability and the level of economic development. For the indirect effect, benefit of the FDI could spill over to the non-local firms. Spillovers could take place through the several channels such as capacity spillovers, corporations increase technological spillovers, labor turnovers, demonstrations, imitations effects between the FDI enterprises and the local firms. And based on the theoretical literature, that gates from the FDI to the local firms in a host countries might not be automatically, namely depend on three key factors in the host country, namely that trade policies regime, human capital development, technological capability of the domestic firms. Besides, there is debate on the debt creating. Huge public debt generates a negative impact on economic growth. Let's look at the part 3, research methodology. First, look at the empirical model of this paper. It said the model begins with the endogenous growth models and the new endogenous growth series. Let's look at the equation 3. Two components of the FDI, namely for China's GDP and for other GDP. Besides, trade openings, human capital, and technological capability and depth are introduced into the equation 3. It is worth to mention that the lag variable of the capital, labor, human capital, technology, open, and debt could also influence the FDI economic growth relationships, and to avoid multicollinearity problem, interaction terms are included in the separate equations, respectively. However, for a robustness check, this model could include these interaction terms together in an equations. For the econometric procedure, the model applied in examining the impact of FDI on the Belt and Road economic growth. This paper will apply the panel system GMM models for checking the consistency of the GMM estimators. This study will apply two specification tags, namely the Sargent-Hanson tags and the AR2 tags. For the Part 4, empirical results. First, we can look at this slide. All the models in the Table 2 before the robust regression results are presented. The Sargent-Hanson test is carried out for all the models in the Table 2. The p-values in the Sargent statistic of all models is larger than 0.1 and insignificantly. In the AR2 test for analyzing the autocorrelations existence of the second order, all of the above models have the p-value greater than 0.1, indicating that is no second-order autocorrelations in all models. For the empirical results of the tables, there are 6 findings as follows. Firstly, Chinese OFDI to the Belt and Road countries can more effectively promote the host country's economic growth and affirms the significance of Chinese OFDI in the Belt and Road countries. Secondly, the Belt and Road initiatives impact the Belt and Road countries' economic growth. Thirdly, the size of the labor force in the Belt and Road countries is essential factors affecting the Belt and Road countries' economic growth. Fourth, the technological development of the Belt and Road country is one of the factors affecting the economic growth of the Belt and Road countries, but influence is to a lesser extent. Fifth, the scale of the host country's government debt is an essential factor affecting the relationship between China's OFDI and the economic growth of the Belt and Road countries. Finally, the host country's trade opening is a crucial factor affecting the OFDI economic growth nexus, and all above the empirical results implies that more openness of the trade of the Belt and Road countries, the more likely they to attract China's OFDI. For the Part 5, recommendations. This paper focuses on the questions: how does Chinese OFDI affect the economic growth of the Belt and Road countries? There are 4 policies influences as follows. First, To benefit from the Chinese OFDI, the Belt and Road countries need to ensure the appropriate level of the debt in the countries. Second, trade openness is another crucial aspect which would help the countries receive the favorable impact from the Chinese OFDI. Trade liberalizations, both in terms of unilateral and multilateral, are essentials in these countries in promoting FDI growth nexus. Apart from that, human capital and technological advancement are the areas which need to further improvement. Finally, regarding the role of China should take the initiative to shoulder the responsibilities of major countries and highlighting the contribution of the Chinese OFDI to the Belt and Road countries. Thank you. That's all of my presentations.